Welcome back to our Satisfactory Let's Play. This is already episode 3, so don't hesitate to check in the video description below if you've missed the previous episodes. In episode 1, we really focused on the tutorial and going through tier 0. Tier 0 is all about creating a hub, so we did that. And then in the last episode, episode 2, we did tier 1. We did base building, logistics, so we started having conveyors, splitters, and mergers, and we unlocked the MAM. So now it makes sense that in this third episode, we're going to start tier 2, with the part assembly, the resourcing, and logistic Mark II. You can see on the right side of the screen, I started working a bit of to-do list for the episode, and in particular to be able to do those deliveries for tier 2, I want to start making reinforced iron plate. I want to also start getting some tickets from the awesome shops, and maybe making a wire and cable factory, a full one, and a screw factory. It won't be a perfect one in terms of productivity, but it should already be a good one. And as I said, I think we'll probably do part assembly, which will give us the assembler, which is important for this reinforced iron plate. Then if possible, I want to do the resourcing so that we can get the awesome shop. That would be really important to make our factories a bit better. And then lastly, the logistic Mark II to get conveyor belts, up to 120 resources per minute, because even the factory that we made in the last episode, our concrete factory, right, isn't really working perfectly right now with conveyor belts Mark 1. So that will leave probably for the next episode, just obstacle clearing and the jump pad. Of course, don't hesitate to share in the comments below if you have any questions, any thoughts, any requests. I'd love to hear about it. And otherwise, let's dive right in. Starting, as I said, with part assembly. The great thing is we are making all of this, right? The wires, the rods, all of this we are making. Okay, and then we need some cables. That's the one I'm not sure, because I think we posted last time. Yes, we did. So we need to restart it, which is why I really want to create, a factory for this, because right now it's either we have this one working or that one. So important for us to make a factory out of it. The only problem is in this, plateau that we have here, there's quite a lot of resources, but there's only one copper. So we'll have to just share it. So with that, we have almost everything except those cables, not at 200. So let's get ready for the reinforced iron plates. The reinforced iron plates, we're gonna need an assembler, and let's double check what resources we actually need for it. So if we look into our craft bench, we can see that for the reinforced iron plates, this is iron plates and screws. Remember, we're making the screws up there, and right now we're making actually the iron plates over here, which is not great because now, we need strange layout. So what we're gonna do is actually we're gonna switch this one to being iron plates and this one to being the rods. This is not optimized. Remember, I know this is not optimized, but it's because we're gonna delete soon to make a specific factory. But now we're making, the iron over here, we're making the rods over here, so we can have the assembler somewhere over here in the middle as soon as we unlock it. While we're waiting for the cables to be done, let's explore a bit the map. In particular, I want to check over here the other iron that we have. We knew there was some iron. Yes, there is one over here. Let's take this out so that it's ready to be used in the future. And the other one is over there. But unfortunately, as you can see, there is a big boulder on it. And that we actually can't do anything about right now. We're gonna need to unlock basically some dynamites, it's fancy dynamites, let's say, to be able to take this out. So for now, we'll only be able to use that one in this corner. We have some berries there and we have some crystals. Let's take it. It could, or raw quartz, sorry. It could help us do another research on the MAM, potentially. We don't want to fall there. That would be dangerous. Anything else over here? Yes, we have a yellow one. Yellow power slugs. This is what's gonna be used to overclock, anything we want. So it can be a mine or something else. So this is really cool that we got first one. Okay, so hopefully by now, indeed, perfect enough cables. So let's do the first milestone, part assembly. And with that, we're gonna unlock the assembler. Next, crate building. Or not actually, we're missing a bit of an iron plate. I misread that, it seems. And we Have enough over here? Yes. Oh, that's a lot of iron ingots that we have in reserve. And it is launching. Perfect. 6 minutes until the next one, but anyway, it's gonna probably take us a bit of time to be able to do the next one. As I said, the next one we want to do is the resource sink. This will require concrete, wire that we have, and then a bit more iron, rod, and plates. You can select it. We can't deliver right away. Builder menu, we have the assembler. For it, this will require some rotors, some cables, and some reinforced iron plate. So quite a few things. What's funny is that basically to have reinforced iron plate, you need an assembler. To have rotors, you need an assembler. So we do have to use the craft bench right now. There's no other choice. And you know, the rotors are over here. But first, let's do the iron plates. We only need 8. Not too much of a big deal. Then we need some cables and then some rotors. For the rotors, we're gonna need more of those screws. Okay, so it is enough reinforced iron plate and rotors. And let's just place it over here. Again, this is very dirty, I know, but this is very temporary. Okay, and then one that goes on that side and the other one over here, go into it. Perfect. And then the last thing we do need to do, of course, is to connect the power. Done. And to choose reinforced iron plates. Iron plates are already there. The screws are gonna take just a bit of time to arrive. And just because I'm out of screws, let me just take this. Perfect. And also kick it off, you know, by doing this. Okay, 2 minutes later and we now have enough for the resourcing bonus program. Deliver all of these things. Perfect. And launch it. Good. Let's immediately start by doing this one. I like to complete my to-dos into special. We have the awesome sink and the awesome shop. So the one that we really want is the awesome shop, because there we can buy new things. I'm gonna show you in a second what type of things. But to be able to buy those things, we actually need coupons, and we only get those coupons in the awesome sink. So that's why we do need this one too. So we're gonna want to build at least one of each. And for that, we're gonna need quite a few reinforced iron plates. So let's see, 22, perfect, I love it. We actually do need also a bit of screws, so let's do that. Is that enough? Yes. And we need a bit of cables, which are over here. Let's get that quickly. Perfect. 200. So, the awesome shop we can put anywhere. Let's put it on here on the main base. Again, this is the type of thing we can move in the future. For now, I'm just putting it very close to the rest, and let me show you what type of thing we can buy. So the first element I want to highlight is that not everything is available. As you can see right away, for example, this one, it's unavailable because to unlock it, I need to research in the MAM the quartz crystals. Or this one is the same. Over here, now I need quick wire and the advanced steel production. So there's a number of things that need to be unlocked, but some of them will be available already. Before I show you which one I want to buy soon, let me show you some of the elements. So here, for example, we have some billboards. So that way at the entrance of your factory, for example, you can say what is inside the factory. You also have some lights, so to put outside so that you don't get scared during the night, or also inside your factories. Then over here we have a couple that are super interesting, like the conveyor leaf floor holes. This was one I mentioned in the previous episode. If you put that on the floor, then you can have an elevator coming really through the floor instead of on the side of your building. This one I also mentioned are wall power outlets. So instead of having a power pole that's standing in the middle of your factory or in the middle of your street, now you put these ones on the wall. So that's pretty clean. Then some foundations, you know, we have some basic one right now. These ones are a bit more advanced, different shapes. Some walls, we have once again some very basic one. Now with that, we're going to get doors. We're also going to get some windows. And the one that really important for me is the conveyor world. This is very similar to the one I just mentioned over here, the conveyor lift, but this one on a wall. Then we have some structural or architecture, which are mostly to make things look prettier, like some pillars or some road barriers. This one really important, either the ladder or the stairs to help you go up and down easily in your factories. Then different visuals for your foundation of your walls. Right now we only have one type, but we could have many others that you see here also for your roof. This is for the floor, the boombox and some music. And you can actually also spend your tickets to get parts, you know, to get cables, wire, whatever it is, you can get everything. But personally, I don't suggest to really use that. You shouldn't be wasting your coupons on something like this, because those coupons, as I said, are not so easy to get. We're only going to get them by building a sink. Now the sink, basically what happens is you can sink whatever resources you want into it, and based on how complex the resources, you're gonna get some points. Now in the future, what we're definitely going to do is we're going to do what I call an overflow system, which means that anytime something is full, for example, over here, you know, we have a factory for the concrete factory, and all of the concrete is going into this storage container over here. Right now it's not full at all because this is just going very slowly, but when this is full, the idea is we continue to produce, right? I don't want the whole thing to stop because this is unlimited, so there's no reason to stop. But everything else, you know, when this is full, everything should go into the sink. The problem is that to do that, we need the smart splitter, which we don't have right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have some production dedicated to be just synced. For example, once again, we have big concrete factory over here. So we don't really need the previous one that we had created over here. So let's just sync everything that we are being produced over here. This is actually quite a big building and also requires electricity. Probably don't want to create too many of them at the beginning. It is delivering directly into the sink, and we haven't gotten a single coupon yet because it's gonna take some time. Concrete is obviously not such a complex thing, so it's not giving us a lot of points. This is giving us 12 points every time one is sink. So soon we're gonna get our first coupon, but the one thing to note also is that the number of points until the next coupon increases every time you get one coupon. So it gets increasingly harder in a sense to get more. I could also, if I wanted, you know, drop things into it, but I can't just drop it directly into it by, you know, doing like this. What you do need to do is basically create a storage and then link the storage to the sink. Okay, we have our first coupon. We're gonna need a couple more for sure, so let's just get it going. And in the meantime, let's start Logistic Mark II. So for Logistic Mark II, we're gonna need some reinforced iron plate, which is why I've started to make some concrete, we're good on that, some iron rod, that's fine, and some iron plates. So in the meantime, let's start building a new factory. I think we still don't really have what we want. You know what I want, actually I can show you. I mean, very early what I want is definitely this one, and then I also want this one, which is 5. It's definitely a lot. We'll need a door at some point, but I can wait a few minutes for that, you know. Same for windows and all those type of things. It will be important later, but for now, this is really the two that are really critical for me. 6 tickets. Maybe I should just get this one to start. Done. So we have 2. Print them. You basically drop them into your inventory over here. And as I said, we can now buy this one. Perfect. So the factory I want to start with is this wire and cable one, that we produce both the wire and the cable at the same time. Delete the whole thing. We get all of these resources, so it's not a problem. And the mark one, we can leave it. I'm just gonna delete this. Then we need to decide where to do it, right? I think we have some space over here. That's probably a good place. Don't forget to snap to the grid, right? Press R to zoom and then start creating your foundation. So we have a Mark 1 miner that's on a pure node. So that's 120, which means we can have 4 smelters. And then we're going to want 10 constructors. Some of them are going to make wires, some of them are going to make cables. I'll explain exactly how much in a second. And we're probably going to need also some mergers, some splitters, some conveyor, leaf floors, hole. Maybe probably more than this, but I just wanted to give you an idea of the type of resources that we're going to need. So definitely a number of reinforced iron plates and a lot of other things. Now, in terms of foundation, we're going to make it simple. We're going to do a 5 by 5. So that's 25 foundations for each level. And once again, I'm going to do a bit the trick of the sandwich layers where I can hide all of the belts so we don't have to see it. And the 5 by 5 is because I want to also be able to keep some space around to be able to walk easily. But at the same time, we're going to have 8 constructors for the wire on one level. So yeah, that will be sufficient. So here's really the base. This is a line also with that level of my miner. And now we can start building the actual first level of the foundation. So again, 5. Okay, so that's really the first level. And this first level, we're going to have the smelters. So what we're gonna do is put them all next to each other. Actually, we can put it this way, like this, thing. Line, align. And the fourth one over here. And with that, we can start also using this new conveyor lift hole. So we can put it very close, you know, there's no need to put it very far. Something like this, perfect. Okay, and then an elevator that's going and going to deliver. Perfect, 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 and good. So that is the inputs. We of course need this one to come in. Let me see if I can put it a bit straighter. So I can put it straighter. Then we'll just add 2 more. This. Take all of these petals. Fine. Then we'll cut the tree later as soon as we can. But basically the point is that now I have my Mark 1. For now, Mark 1. In the future, we can put a Mark 2. I want to put it straight. Okay. And here we're going to have, again, elevators. This time, going down. And we need some splitters where it's coming from here. Let's align it. Perfect. Okay. And then we just need to put conveyor belt once again. Remember the trick, if you want it to look really nice with a 90-degree angle, you place it so that it's aligned, and then you go back 2 tiles or 2 meters, and then you turn. And now it's perfectly aligned. Okay, then let's do like this. Up. Up. And up. And then this one over here. It's funny to see the tree really clipping on it. And yeah, go up. Perfect. So for now, that will be limited at 60, but in the future, that should work perfectly. Okay, we need to go back up. Going back up, perfect. So we have the inputs, now the outputs. We could exactly do the same. We don't have to do the same if we don't want to in terms of the elevators, but I think we will. I think we will to keep it really as clean as possible. It will cost us a bit more resources, but then it keeps the floor really easy to walk around. Perfect. Elevators, and press R to make sure that we're doing the right thing, meaning that the elevator is going to take resource and not bring resource up. Right. So again, this way, with that, I can really walk around, no problem. Let's make sure to bring the electricity also while we're here. Bring it into the corner like this, and then, you know, put it, for example, there and there. Okay, and so now we see the elevators over here. Then the only thing we have to decide is, do we want, you know, the elevator to go up this side or on this side? I think it's cleaner to put it this side so we see it less. We're gonna do it like this. So that time it's again the same sort of elevator going down. But instead of splinters, we're gonna have mergers now. And as we said, we want to use the elevator on that side, so that means the exit needs to be this side. Perfect. And put it quite close, to be honest. You know, there's no need to have a lot of belts, and this way it also makes it easy to walk in between the two. I don't need the first one. Yeah, and then the belts. Let's put this one inside. This one, it's 90 degrees. That's perfect. And inside first. And this one. And inside first. This one. Oh, this one. And this will be the exit. Perfect. Now we're gonna have an elevator to go up. But before, let's make sure we actually create this floor. So let's rebuild a lookout tower. So it's a bit easier to see what is happening. To do that, we can take a foundation, you know, for example, in the corner, and press R to go vertical. And we're gonna go vertical 3 layers to make sure there's no clipping, you know, there's enough space. You could do probably with less, but we have the space. It doesn't really cost anything. Okay, and then again, of course, 5 by 5. Okay, so here it is, we have a 5 by 5, but let's remember this is gonna be again a sandwich layer, so we need to build even higher, but this time just one foundation is enough. So now we're gonna need to build the elevator. On that side, it's pretty easy, we know it's gonna take it. But what's a bit harder is often to know exactly where to go up. So one thing we can do is for now just build it and hope for the best. But then there's also a small trick I'm going to show you in just 1 second. Just want to make sure this is well connected. Perfect. So then let's get back into our tower quickly. So actually I think I managed it right. Oh no, not actually right, because it's too high. But now that I know where it is, you know, I can build one of these like this, and therefore I'll be able to see it and to also even clip to it if needed, like this. So let's dismantle it and rebuild it. And this time that's perfect. Okay, so in this layer over here, we're going to have a wire connections or wire constructors. So we're going to put 4 on each side, but actually I'm going to do something slightly different than what you may expect, which is that we're not going to have them symmetrical. I'm going to show you what I mean. A small tip is, instead of going back in your menu, you can press Control, and the middle button of your mouse is going to select and copy sort of the same building you already had. So this will be the entry point, and on the other side, instead of doing something like this, where I'm going to, rotate it to have the inputs on the opposite side and the outputs in the same direction and then merge in the middle, we're not going to do that because those 4 over here are going to do wires, which will be wires. I'm going to keep them as wires, versus those 4 that are going to be over here are going to actually do wires that are going to then be transformed into cables. So I'm going to keep those 2 sort of separate in terms of input and outputs. And the last one over here. So as I said, this is wire, but they will be transformed into cables after. Versus these ones are actually going to stay wires. Now we do need to make it careful that there's enough space. We need to create a few more of those conveyor lifts. Don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below if this is also the way you like factories, or if you prefer, something else. In terms of, the input output, this is 15, 30, so a Mark 1 elevator will work no problem. So right now we don't have yet the stairs or the ladder. So the way I'm doing it is really with those ramps like this. Very soon we can clean that, don't worry. And the final elevators here and there. Okay, so let's remember that basically the first row is input, second row is output, third row is input and output. That's how it's working. Okay, so it is all the belts are done. We have the exit that's going this way, the inputs over there, and we can still walk nicely all around. So I like it a lot. So now, as I said, we have 2 inputs. So this one over here is 120 wire. Then this one over here is also 120 wire, but we're not going to do the same thing with them. And of course, right now, this won't be working 100% because of our Mark 1 belts, but we can change that very soon as we unlock it. Now let's go back down. Ouch. So we see those 2 over here, right? We have this one, as I said, will be just wire. So what we'll do is actually just have foundation. So let's do something like this. Then we can delete the ones that are above. Perfect, so we know it's very aligned. Let's make it 2 tiles. And let's just put the elevator. So we'll need a Mark 2 elevator later. For now, that will do. And then over here, we can put a storage container. Turn it around to have the inputs in the right way and align it. We haven't put the electricity, that's why it's not working. But this will be so iron. On the other hand, this one we said we want to transform into cables. So we could create another level on top, but we actually don't have to. What we can do is use the layer that we have over here. There's tons of space. I mean, maybe not tons, but there is space. Because in particular, we only need 2 constructors. We don't need a lot. So let's do that. 2 constructors. So those trees are really annoying me over here. So let's do a change of plan. And instead of doing logistic Mark 2, let's go directly to do the one that requires this obstacle clearing, we have pretty much everything we need. We just need a bit more of these screws, which we have, don't worry. And so with that, we can do obstacle clearing. Great. And this will be inside our equipment workshop over here, where we are now able to do a chainsaw, and we actually have everything we need, so let's do it right away. We've also unlocked in the past the object scanner, but not so important. I'm not gonna do it right away. So we can put it in our hand, and you see also we have now 2 slots, which means that now if I press, you know, the middle, if I turn the middle button of my mouse, I go from one to the other. Now for the chainsaw to work, we need this new fuel that you can see, which is the solid biofuel, which is even better than, you know, this biomass that we had here. So let's just go over here, get some. So let's go cut this one. That was really annoying me. Perfect. And this one. Good. So with that, now we have a bit of a clearer view. So we use quite a bit of space with this one just to align it. To be honest, that's not so important. I think what I'm gonna do is probably move it so that we have a bit more space over here. So let me do that right away and come back. So it is, ladies and gents, the ingots are coming up, being split 2 ways, right? And then if we go up, we can see green. I like that. Wires, you can see some of them going directly into this one, and some of them going, and the other going over there, going into those ones here. And perfect, the cables are starting to come. We have some in reserve. So yes, I mean, this is once again a very ugly factory in terms of the outside, but if we had a bit of walls, some windows, I think it would be a very cool one. This is not optimized because of the Mark 1 belts, but as soon as we get the Mark 2 belts and elevators, this will become a perfect productivity factory, which is taking, you know, one node, one Mark 1 node, so 120 copper, and with that is going to make 120 wire per minute and 60 cable. So quite a lot, and again at perfect productivity level. And in terms of power, this factory, this wire and cable factory at full productivity will take 56 megawatts. So we need to be careful, we are now getting again to our maximum. And while we are doing that, let's see what happened with our sink. Have we made a lot of coupons or not? We have made 6. It's not huge, but it's something. And we're very close to number 7 actually. So with that, we could get a few things. Not really finished what we need. I don't think we have everything we need. Oh no, we actually have a lot of... Oh, we may actually have everything we need for the next level. So yes, here it is, ladies and gents. We have enough reinforced plates. We have enough concrete. We have enough of the iron rods and enough of the iron plates. So we can unlock Logistic Mark II. Amazing. So if we look at our objectives, you know, we have done all of the tier 1 part 1 that we are planning. We've also done our wire and cable factory. We haven't done the screw factory, but in exchange we did one more of these milestones, right? We did the, where is it? The obstacle clearing. The next one that's needed to finish tier 2 is these jump pads, but it requires rotors. So in the next episode, we're gonna make a rotor factory. On top of that, obviously, we have now unlocked conveyor level 2, both in terms of, you know, just the belt and the lift. So with that, we'll be able to update both the concrete factory that we have here and this factory over here of wires and cables to be 100% productivity. I'll probably do that offline and show it to you at the beginning of the episode. I will probably also unlock the factory ladder so that we can just delete all of this and be able to go up and down as easily as we want. So it is, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you liked this episode. Don't hesitate to press the like button if you did, to share any thoughts, comments, requests that you may have in the comments below. and I hope to see you next time for the next episode in this Satisfactory Let's Play. I'm really having tons of fun with this game and I hope you're having too.